Before I start, I do want to mention that this video is not monetized. I just want to take a couple minutes to pay my respect to the man that gave me not just the greatest childhood, but the greatest life that I could ask for, Akira Toriyama. As you guys know, at this point, the whole world knows. Akira Toriyama passed away recently. He passed away on March 1st, and they announced it last night. I believe it's on March 7th. And it was news that I was not expecting to hear for a very, very long time. Like, it was theorized, like, when that day comes, like, how will we react? And I remember me and all my friends were like, oh, I'm crying. Like frame one. Boy, did I cry last night. I've rarely ever get impacted by, like, death announcements like that, but last night was different. It's like the world stopped. And then I also had Dion's stream open. It's funny because I was actually literally organizing my Dragon Ball cards, which I just got from Fusion World. Like, literally, I was just organizing these right here, making my deck. I had Dion on the background. I got the news. My phone started blowing up. I called Dion up, and the world just stopped. And I was not ready for that. I'll be honest. I was not ready to hear that. All I can say is thank you, Akira Toriyama, for everything you gave us. I say us because we are a community across the world. And if it wasn't for Dragon Ball, I feel like things would be, first of all, things would be way different today. But, like, I feel like the impact that Dragon Ball had is just so crazy to me. I still stand by this. I feel like if it wasn't for Dragon Ball, anime would not be anywhere nearly as popular and mainstream as it is today. I stand by that. Because Dragon Ball was one of the first anime that was cool to be a fan of. Because I remember when anime was first, coming out, coming overseas, you had to keep it a secret that you watched it. People would get bullied and made fun of. But Dragon Ball was one of those things that I feel like we all unanimously watched. It's so weird. We all watched it. I don't think I knew a single dude in middle school and high school that just didn't watch it. And if you didn't watch it, like, I didn't trust you. I'm gonna be real. I didn't trust you. But the impact that Dragon Ball had, it's kind of crazy because, like, you see it in other forms of media. You seen the crossovers in the cartoons and the movies. They were literally yelling Kamehameha in, was it Shang-Chi? Marvel movie recently? And by recent, I mean a couple years ago. Dragon Ball is crazy. It's so iconic that even my mom knows who Goku is. That's a true test. If my mom knows the anime character, like, that's impact right there. I mean, to be fair, she also had to deal with all the toys I had and the games and stuff like that. I want to share some of my favorite memories about, Dragon Ball growing up, because I feel like, again, it was the big part of my life that shed some light in the dark world that is the planet that we live on. And I'll never forget when I first watched Dragon Ball. That's a little rewind before we get into Budokai. I wanted to play the games so badly, but the games were impossible to get, and emulators were really like a thing like that. So the only games you could play were GT Final Bout, Ultimate Battle 22, or Dragon Ball Z Legends, and these two were imports. Ultimate Battle 22 did not come out in English yet, so you had to import this, and to play it, you also had to mod your PlayStation. So the only game we could play was Dragon Ball GT Final Bout, which was, number one, an awful game, and two, impossible to find. And if you found it, it was expensive. It was expensive. I'll never forget one birthday. I was one of those people that, like, when I got a gift or a present, it was that's my gift for the year. And I'll never forget the one time where the gift that I wanted was GT Final Bout. It was $100. And my parents were just like, no, we can't do that. We just can't do that. I'm happy that I didn't get it, because if I played it, I probably would have been upset because that game was really, really bad. But I would enjoy it for what it was. But so the games were just impossible to find. So option B was you have to go to Blockbuster and rent it. If you found it. Keyword if. Because if you found a Blockbuster that had it, the game was likely just stolen. It was never returned. Because it was a rare game. So what I did instead is I would just go on all these websites and just download all these Dragon Ball GIFs of, like, animations from the games. From, like, Super Nintendo to PlayStation. And I would just had this, like, folder of these Dragon Ball Z GIFs from these animations from the game, and I would just put these GIFs next to each other, and that's how I played the games. I'm not even kidding. The very first game that I played, I'll never forget, was the web browser on Cartoon Network's website. It was an awful game. It had this, like, weird Cisco loop from the Thong Song, and it was like this, like, game where you click in the corner and it will fly up to that corner, and then you hit a button to attack. You have to like kind of guess where they're gonna be. It was an awful game, but I loved it and I played it so much, and I loved every second of it. And then I'll never forget when Legacy Goku first came out, and I was like, oh my god, I cannot believe I'm playing a Dragon Ball game in the palm of my hands right now. It was like the coolest thing ever. And then they had the music as well. Ooh. And then the magical moment, my favorite gift of all time in my childhood, Dragon Ball Z Budokai. I remember I got it for my birthday. My birthday is in end of December. This came out like December, I want to say like 6th or 2nd or something like that. Early, it was like the first week of December. And I remember I wanted that game so badly, and I was like, my birthday's coming up, but I have to wait. And this is the one time where I'm like, yo, mom, dad, can I get this now, man? And they agreed. And I remember, I think it's the first game I pre-ordered too. I had my parents pre-order for me, and because I was like, if we don't pre-order this, I will not be able to get it. Because I had like the GT Final Bout effect on, where I was like, if this game comes out, it's gonna be impossible to find. We need to pre-order this, Dad. And I pre-ordered it. I remember I came home, I played it, and I just never put it down. It was like the happiest I've ever been growing up, next to when I got Pokemon Silver as a kid. Fast forward, we also got more games. Tenkaichi series came out. The entirety of my high school career, I didn't really like do much or go out with anybody. All I did was just hang out with my friends in my neighborhood. But Tenkaichi 2 came out, and I remember I used to go to my friend Gabe's house, who lived like 2 blocks away, and we would just play Tenkaichi 2 every night for like, well, not every night, but like, it was a couple times a night for just hours and hours and hours. And on the weekends, I would literally go to his house at like, I don't know, 7 o'clock and leave at like 3 in the morning, because we were just playing Tenkaichi 2 nonstop. We just like be drinking beers and stuff, and just, going out and getting like Taco Bell and stuff, and come back and playing. It was so perfect. Oh my god, it's such a core memory to me. Fast forward to college, Tenkaichi 3. As you guys know, Jane Antastic was my roommate in college, along with my roommates Shane and Nate. And we would just play nonstop until we got into fights. It would be clean until one person would pick either the Spirit Bomb Goku, which is an unblockable, or Super Saiyan 2 Teen Gohan, who also had an unblockable. And the second he started spamming those, it would get dirty. Because then somebody would pick Second Form Cell and then do like the loop, because you could do like the loop where you do the super attack where you rush in, you drain health, drain ki, you do it again, rub it and get up. If you do it right, you can just keep looping it and just be dirty. And this will lead to fights to the point where we just not talk to each other for days. Or the worst part was, we would just be like, one person would be angry, like, come on, but the other person just has like a smirk on their face, and they're trying not to show a smirk, because they know if the other person knows that you're smiling, it's going to lead to a fight. Oh my god, Tenkaichi was a core memory that I will never forget. I think that's why Tenkaichi 3 is probably one of my favorite Dragon Ball games of all time. That and, obviously the Budokai series. And then fast forward, obviously, later years, Xenoverse made my channel. It made my life. And I became a Dragon Ball content creator. Which is funny, because I actually started doing content around Raging Blast first. But I became a Dragon Ball content creator ultimately in my later years. And Dragon Ball was still present to this day. Like, growing up, we're always being told, like, oh, you're not going to have time for all these childish things. Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! You got at some point grow up. And I remember thinking, like, if I get forced into it, I'll do it. But I'm not freely giving away the things that I love. And that's a message that I always kept in this channel. I was like, if there's something you love that makes you happy, do not let it go. Like, who are you to let anybody tell you to stop liking something? Like, that makes you happy. That's bullshit. Like, oh my god. Like, there's so many happy memories. And, the fact that Dragon Ball is still a big part of my life today is just nuts. And all I can just say is, Akira Toriyama, the man that I never met, thank you for not only giving me the best childhood I could ask for, but also the best life, period. And I feel like I speak for a lot of us when I say that, because we all have a Dragon Ball story. We all do. In fact, if you want to share some of your favorite stories or moments, by all means, go for it. But thank you. Like, we never met. We probably were never going to meet. But all I can say is just thank you for making my life easier and beautiful, I should say. Because, like, there's not a single moment in the Dragon Ball part of my life that I regret. And it's just, I don't know. It's just, hearing that news last night was rough. It was very, very rough. I was watching Dion. It was once Dion's speech. By the way, go watch Dion's video. It's beautiful. Once Dion was giving his speech, it was just waterworks. And then when I recovered, in the other room, I heard the Dragon Ball intro. And it was just like all over again. I went out the other room. And we just watched Dragon Ball all night. I don't think this is a time for sadness, to be honest. We should be celebrating the gift that this man gave to us. Because what he gave to us is beautiful. It connected so many of us across the world together. We made countless friends. We formed infinite communities. Never forget the internet breaking when Goku fought Jiren. You know, seeing stuff like how Mexico literally ignored cease and desist from Toei to have showings like that. That is just beautiful to me. So all I can say is, thank you for the gift that you gave us. Videos will resume back to normal like a day or so. Like I said, I tweeted this yesterday. I had a video pre-recorded of me just playing Dragon Ball, and it was just me being happy and like excited and stuff. But it just didn't feel right dropping that without, discussing something like this first. So I moved that video back to like a day or so. But yeah. If you guys want to share any of your favorite memories, in fact, I would love to hear those stories as well. The first time you got into Dragon Ball, by all means, feel free to let me know down below. And we're going to celebrate his legacy. We're going to celebrate the gift that he gave us and never forget the legend that is Akira Toriyama and the universes that he gave us, from Dr. Slump to Dragon Ball to the characters he designed in games like Chrono Trigger, Blue Dragon. He's done so much work. All I can say is thank you.